Connor McDavid and Judd Moldaver, his agent. He signed a 2-year extension. So basically what he has, he's got 3 years left on his deal. This year plus 2 more. At $12.5 million.
McDavid's agent just announced the real reason behind his short deal, and the hockey world is stunned. After months of silence and endless speculation, the truth has finally come out. What Judd Moldaver just revealed about McDavid's decision isn't about money or fame. It's about something much bigger inside the Oilers locker room. Connor McDavid signed a 2-year, $25 million extension with the Edmonton Oilers days before the season began, continuing his average annual value at $12.5 million. The deal keeps him under contract through 2028. This short-term contract drew widespread attention. Many expected McDavid to seek a long, record-setting extension after back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances. His agent, Judd Moldaver, addressed questions in an appearance on the 32 Thoughts podcast. Moldaver said the process was intentionally extended over the summer to allow McDavid to take his time with the decision. Moldaver stated that from the start of negotiations, McDavid's intention, both publicly and privately, was to stay in Edmonton and pursue a Stanley Cup as an Oiler. He emphasized that this was never about a predetermined deadline. It was never about a date circled on a calendar. He said the timeline had to be McDavid's alone. Moldaver also addressed the salary terms. He said that while there may have been permutations, he could have suggested a higher cap hit, ultimately he always works to protect his client's interests. He noted that $25 million over 2 years is itself rare for a short deal. According to Moldaver, the choice of 2 years gave flexibility to both McDavid and the team. He framed the agreement as balancing McDavid's ability to win in Edmonton and preserving his individual value. Some observers viewed this contract as a team-friendly move, raising speculation that it could suppress future elite deals. Moldaver rejected that narrative. He called the idea that McDavid's contract hurts other players' value as bogus and disingenuous. He explained that different players sign at different times. The salary cap system is fixed. Deals cannot be reopened once locked. He also cited previous examples of his clients taking shorter terms. He noted that Austin Matthews signed a 4-year deal in 2023 with a $13.25 million cap hit rather than maximize term. Moldaver said there were parallels in that approach, though the timing and market conditions differ. From Moldaver's view, McDavid's approach is a bet on himself. Short-term deals carry elasticity and flexibility. The Oilers organization also backed this messaging. General manager Stan Bowman commented that management allowed McDavid to take his time in negotiation. Reports say that Edmonton was never approached with an official trade offer for McDavid during the offseason. CEO Jeff Jackson confirmed no team made a formal proposal. Jackson further said McDavid's new deal doesn't force the Oilers into immediate decision. Jackson maintained that while you're always on the clock in contract contexts, this deal doesn't transform Edmonton's strategy overnight. Before the extension, McDavid had stated he would not rush contract talks. In August, he told media that he would take his time with input from his family, his agent, and those around him. At that time, he reaffirmed his commitment to winning in Edmonton and his desire to proceed deliberately. McDavid entered the 2025-26 season with 1,082 points in 712 NHL games. He had posted 100 points in 67 games in 2024 to 2025. In 2 straight seasons, the Oilers reached the Stanley Cup final, only to lose to the Florida Panthers both times. Given those outcomes, McDavid's decision to accept a short-term, non-increasing cap hit surprised many analysts. Moldaver's statement clarified that McDavid's priority was to stay in Edmonton and give the franchise a chance to compete under favorable roster flexibility. He insisted that this was not about market setting or comparisons, but the best decision for McDavid at this moment. In rejecting the precedent argument, Moldaver asserted that McDavid's contract should not be used as a template for other elite players. Moldaver's framing suggests this short deal gives McDavid and Edmonton options to reassess in 2 years, if the market shifts or objectives change. By emphasizing process, timing, flexibility, and alignment with team goals, Moldaver cast McDavid's short commitment as a strategic choice, not a limitation. Moldaver's revelation adds depth to the headline deadline. The real reason behind McDavid's short deal was not a lack of leverage, but a deliberate plan built over months, aiming to balance competitiveness and future options.
Marty, you have an experience of people doubting you, and I think when Marc-Andre just mentioned that you coached at a junior level, you corrected him and said, Pee-wee, there's a lot of people out there that are doubting you right now. What do you have to say to those people?
They were written off, but now they're coming for everything. Under Martin St. Louis, the Canadiens have turned from a rebuilding roster into a relentless, hungry force that refuses to quit. From grueling practices to last-second goals, this team isn't just playing hockey anymore. They're proving that Montreal matters again.
All that stuff, you know, as an athlete, as a human, all that stuff that people want to doubt or talk and say and comment, to me, it's all noise. It's always been noise. And I've always been a guy that blocked the noise and gets after it. And that's what I intend to do.
Since Martin St. Louis became head coach, the Canadiens have changed. He took charge in June 2022 after a long playing career. He was the 32nd coach in team history. In his first full year, Montreal finished near the bottom. But under his plan, that changed quickly. By the 2024-25 season, the Canadiens jumped to a record of 40 wins, 31 losses, and 11 overtime losses. That gave them 91 points, 15 more than the year before, and their first playoff trip in 4 seasons. These are not small steps. They are proof of change. In May 2025, the National Hockey League named Martin St. Louis one of 3 finalists for the Jack Adams Award. That award goes to the best coach in the league. He was honored for helping Montreal move from a rebuild into real competition again. His work caught the eye of analysts, players, and other teams. Now, at the start of the 2025-26 season, the Canadiens are working harder than ever. Training camp opened with a clear message. St. Louis told his players that every day mattered. Every shift had to mean something. Team captain Nick Suzuki backed that up. He said the group had to come hungry every day. That message stuck. In their recent games, Montreal's new style is showing. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks with a goal in the last seconds, 15.7 seconds before the horn, to be exact. Defenseman Caden Gooley scored that winning goal. It showed that the team doesn't stop pushing even when the clock is almost gone. That type of finish is what St. Louis has been asking for. In that same game, Montreal had 10 power plays. Chicago collected 39 penalty minutes. The Canadiens fired 12 shots on those chances. Those numbers are a sign of control, and also a sign that their special teams still have room to improve. St. Louis said that execution under pressure is part of what separates good teams from great ones. He is also testing new lineups. Reports from Sportsnet say St. Louis may move rookie Ivan Demidov into the top power play unit. Demidov, who joined Montreal from Russia, is already drawing notice. In one game, he stopped a breakaway chance by skating hard back on defense, something St. Louis wants from all his players. Global News reported that this kind of two-way effort is exactly what the coach expects from young talent. It's not just about scoring, it's about playing the whole game. Another player showing progress is Zach Bolduc. Montreal traded for him this fall. In his first 3 games, Bolduc scored in every match. His ice time jumped from just over 13 minutes to almost 17. He earned that through hard play. He also changed the way players train. In recent interviews, he said he wanted practice to feel like real game. He didn't want slow warm-ups or lazy drills. He told players that every shift in practice should mirror how they play when the puck drops for real. He said, "Do what the game demands." That line has become something of a motto inside the locker room. The Canadiens' improvement isn't only on paper. The team looks more organized, more confident. They still make mistakes. Every young team does. But now those mistakes come from trying, not from hesitating. St. Louis said that once players learn his system, he can demand more from them. That's what's happening this season. The change also shows in leadership. Nick Suzuki continues to grow as captain. The coach has made clear that every player must understand his role. In Montreal's system, the defensemen are expected to help the attack. The forwards must backcheck and protect the zone. Everyone moves together. Sportsnet noted that this approach has made the Canadiens harder to play against. Even league insiders have noticed. In a Reuters report from May 2025, St. Louis was called one of the best new coaches in the NHL. His name appeared next to veteran bench bosses like Scott Arniel of the Jets. For Montreal fans, that recognition mattered. It means the work is paying off. His players respect him because he's done it himself. St. Louis played more than 1,100 NHL games and won a Stanley Cup in 2004. He knows how to lead because he's been in their skates. When he speaks, the locker room listens. Montreal's hunger is now a defining trait. In interviews, players often repeat that word, hungry. It means they want to win, but also that they're never satisfied. The team's climb from last place to playoff status in 2 years shows that attitude. In a recent report from the Hockey News, St. Louis said this phase of the rebuild is about consistency. It's not enough to compete once in a while. The Canadiens must bring the same level every night. That's how real contenders are made. As the season continues, Martin St. Louis's impact can be measured not just in wins, but in how his team responds to pressure. The Canadiens aren't coasting through games anymore. They chase pucks, finish checks, and skate hard in every zone. Every sign points to a team that has rediscovered its edge. From the front office to the fourth line, Montreal is buying into what St. Louis started. The results are showing on the scoreboard, and across the league, people are starting to notice. The Canadiens have become what their coach demanded, hungry again.
Demidov avoided the check. Demidov. Look out, gave it away right on the tape of Pinto. And I think a cross-checking call behind the play.
I think it's going to be a slash.
A slash, sorry. It's going against Ottawa, and Nick Cousins can't believe it. And he'll go for 2 or less.
This has been a parade to the box for Nick Cousins, unfortunately. He's going to take a little slash of Demidov into the hand here. So here's the turnover right here, the middle of the ice. And then there's a chop right on the wrist of Demidov.
A rookie star's night ended in pain. Ivan Demidov, slashed down by Nick Cousins, left the ice holding his wrist. The hit didn't just stop the play, it started something bigger. Nick Cousins delivered a two-handed slash right across Demidov's wrist. The Canadiens rookie tried to skate off, but the pain forced him out. He was removed from the game. Before the hit, Demidov was having a strong night. He had already collected 2 assists in the game. He pushed the play against Ottawa's defense and kept creating scoring chances. His skating and passing showed why fans are so excited about him. But after the slash, his night ended early. Head coach Martin St. Louis was asked for an update right after the game. He said, "Not right now. He's still being evaluated, so not right now." That was the official word from the Canadiens bench. The team called the move by Cousins unnecessary. St. Louis added, "There's no need for that. It's an exhibition game. I don't think there's any need for that in the game." Nick Cousins delivered the chop late in the game. This was after a string of rough moments between the two teams. Reports suggest Cousins may have been retaliating after Arbor Shekaj of Montreal had been ejected earlier. Fans were quick to react. Online, they described the slash as cowardly. Analysts said the Department of Player Safety is likely to review the play. That means Cousins could face discipline before the regular season begins. Ivan Demidov's health became the biggest focus of the night. Reports later confirmed he avoided serious injury. Elliot Friedman shared on X, "Don't believe there's any long-term injury concern for Demidov after the slash he took last night." This was seen as good news for Montreal, especially with the season opener scheduled for October 8th against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Canadiens have already decided to be cautious. Demidov may sit out the next preseason game. This is to give him time to rest and recover. Alexandre Carrier also stated that none of the Canadiens players had serious injuries coming out of the game. That includes Demidov. Even with the incident, the Canadiens won the game 5-0. The score was one-sided, but the conversation after the final horn centered only on Demidov's injury. Before leaving, Demidov had shown the skill that made him a top draft pick. He helped set up goals. He pressured defenders. He drew coverage every time he carried the puck. His play stood out until the slash ended his night. The Canadiens organization is now focused on 2 things: his health and the league's decision on Cousins. The NHL has not yet released an official statement, but based on past cases, a review by the Department of Player Safety could come within days. The slash happened as Montreal and Ottawa played in Quebec City. The game drew attention because of the rising rivalry between the two clubs. This preseason meeting continued that trend. Demidov's injury scare raises larger questions for the league about how much physical play is allowed in preseason games. Martin St. Louis made his position clear. He stated again that there was no need for that type of slash in an exhibition setting. His words echoed through the post-game press conference. months. The Canadiens are expected to update Demidov's status as soon as team doctors finish their checks. For now, the official word is precaution. They do not want to risk a setback for one of their most important young players. The Canadiens, despite the slash, showed strength in the rest of the game. They scored 5 unanswered goals. The situation will now move into league offices. The NHL will study the slash and determine if Cousins faces a fine or suspension. The video review will play a role in that outcome. If discipline comes, it will likely be announced before the Senators' next preseason game. For Montreal, all eyes remain on Demidov. His arrival in the NHL has been highly anticipated. He has been labeled as one of the top prospects of his draft class. In his short time with the Canadiens, he has already impressed fans and coaches. That is why the slash drew so much attention. It was not just about one player getting hit, it was about the future of the franchise taking a dangerous shot in a preseason setting. Elliott Friedman's update eased some fears. His words were direct. No long-term injury concern. That statement provided the most clarity yet. It pointed to Demidov returning soon, perhaps in time for the season opener. Still, the Canadiens are not rushing. They are expected to sit him at least one game to make sure he is fully ready. The rivalry between Montreal and Ottawa has often included physical clashes. This game continued that storyline. The final score was lopsided, but the real headline became the slash, the injury scare, and the possible fallout for Nick Cousins. As of today, Demidov is being monitored daily. Reports say he is not expected to miss extended time. The Canadiens are waiting for further medical reports. The slash is being reviewed by the league. Fans and media continue to follow closely. This was not just another preseason game. It was a night when a young star was slashed hard, left the ice in pain, and sparked a wave of reaction across hockey.
Ivan Demidov just turned a rookie showcase into something no one saw coming. The Bell Center crowd watched in awe as the 19-year-old forward pulled off plays that left the arena shaking. It wasn't only the goal, and it wasn't only the passes. What happened on that ice has people wondering how far this story will go.
Yeah, for sure. It was funny.
I'm not speaking about the ending result, but...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Result is bad. Game was fun.
How did you feel on the ice?
Feels good.
So did you like about your game?
Yeah, sure. It's first game after the summer.
Yeah.
Ivan Demidov is the 19-year-old Russian forward and a rookie in the Canadiens organization. He was the 5th overall pick in the 2024 NHL draft. His name carried weight in Canada and in Russia before this game. That weight grew even heavier after this showcase with the Jets prospects at the Bell Center. The arena was nearly sold out. Fans waited months to see the Canadiens prospects play. When Demidov touched the puck, the crowd stood or leaned forward. Every time he moved, there was excitement. When he made a pass or took a shot, there were applause. In the game, Demidov set up line mates Florian Šekaj and Oliver Kapanen for goals. He then scored a goal of his own that many called highlight reel worthy. He made plays in every period. He was especially strong in the third period. Šekaj said, "The crowd's insane when Demidov has the puck." Laval Rocket head coach Pascal Vincent said, "He was responsible for the majority of them." Speaking of chances to score, he said that what Demidov does on the ice isn't luck. He's a guy who's worked on his game. Demidov's skill in the KHL also drew attention. This game was called a rookie showdown. It featured Canadiens prospects and Winnipeg Jets prospects. The stakes were lower than regular season, but the moment mattered for young players trying to show what they can do. Demidov used the moment well. In total, Demidov recorded a goal and an assist in this game. His assist came from setting up his teammates. His goal came after driving toward the net and finishing with control. He made plays that required speed, puck control, and vision. Every time he got the puck, the crowd responded. They chanted his name. The atmosphere grew louder with each shift. Those reactions came earlier when he played for SKA and when he signed with Montreal. But last night, those reactions were louder than before. Coach Pascal Vincent said for a coach, it is fun to have a player who can make the difference on every shift. Vincent added that Demidov is still young and will continue to improve. Earlier in his career, Demidov had notable moments. In the NHL, he scored his first goal in his first career game. He also had an assist in that same game. In his time with SKA St. Petersburg, he set records for under 20 players. The Manitoba Jets prospects game is a chance for players to prove themselves. Demidov's performance may affect how coaches use him this season. It may influence how often he plays, in what situations, and in which lineup spots. Demidov's pace in the third period stood out. He used speed to beat defenders. He used puck control to avoid losing it in tight spaces. He pushed play into the offensive zone. He forced the Jets prospects to respond. The highlight goal came after he broke in on a breakaway chance. He collected the puck, carried it in, and made the move that beat the goalie. He also made many plays that led to scoring chances, even when he did not get the puck himself. Demidov's presence drew comparisons. People compared the crowd's reaction to what they see for established stars. The buzz around his name came because of how often the crowd reacted when he had the puck. The article noted that fans from all over the city and beyond were paying attention. Some were calling friends to ask if he was going to play. Montreal's Bell Centre has history. It has hosted many great Canadiens games. The mood